Hi everyone, welcome back to JavaScript 101, and in this video I'm going to be talking about your logical operators here. So the first logical operator I want to talk about is the OR operator here. So it's your double pipe symbol here, and I'm going to show you how it evaluates Boolean values here. So if I have a false, use the OR operator, false or true, you will get true. And then I'm going to flip it and say true or false, gives you true again. And then I'm going to say false or false, gives you false this time. If I give you true or true, it gives you true here. So okay, so this is how the OR operator works. If one of the values here or conditions is true, it will return the true value here. Otherwise, it will give you false. If both booleans are false, it'll give you false. So you can use this in your if statements. You can use basically if you have like two conditions and you need one of the conditions to be true to execute the code, and then you can use your operators here. But the logical operators also have other functions as well, and then I'm going to show you how you can use the OR operators. What can you accomplish with the operator in JavaScript? So the first thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to create a variable called a, and I'm going to give a value of 0 here, and then I'm going to create a second variable called b, and it will be dependent on the value of a. And I'm going to use the logical operator here and say 100 here. So okay, if I log this value of b here, what do you think the value is going to be? So if you have not, if you are a beginner JavaScript user, you might think, okay, a is 0, so it's a falsy value, and then 100 is true, so it's a truthy value. It's false or true, so you're saying, okay, maybe b is going to be true value. But if I run this line of code here, as you can see here, it gives you the value of 100, because when you use the OR operator in this way, basically this is JavaScript will try to find the first truthy value here. So if I have the value of 0, a is 0, so a is 0 here, it's a falsy value. You'll go to the next value, you can find 100, that is a truthy value, and then you will assign b the value of 100. So if I change this value a to maybe 25, if I run it again, okay, I'm going to run it again, it gives you the value of 25. So basically a is a truthy value, so it just stops at 25. So I'm going to change that back into 0. So I'm going to do, you can actually do more than two values here. So if you have the second value that is 25, it will stop at 25 here. I'm just going to change the value so you can see. Okay, the second value is 35, so it will change to 35 here. So basically what it does is it looks through the values, and if it finds the first truthy value, it will assign b the value of that of 35 here. So what happens if you have everything is a falsy value? So for instance, a is still 0, then it goes to null. Then the last thing I want to do is I'm going to give a value of, I'm just going to say undefined, right? And if I run this, it will give you undefined. So basically what happens is JavaScript will look at all the values and try to find the first truthy value, and if you can't find one, it'll just assign the last value here, which is undefined. So b becomes undefined here. So that's how you can use your OR operator to assign, basically have a conditional assignment of your variables. And also you can also use the OR operator to do a conditional execution of a line of code. So if I have a boolean of true, and this does not have to be a boolean, could be another comparison, or it can be another truthy value like 23. And if I use the logical operator here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to log something else here, and I'm going to say pop, right? Just going to do that, and then if I run this, as you can see here, it says just Bob. So basically what happens here is that it does not run this line of code here. So I'm just gonna change it to beep here. So run it again. As you can see here, it just runs the line of code at line 8 here and ignores this because when you're using the logical operator here, and if it is a truthy value here, it will just stop here and it won't go to the next value here or the next function call here. So if you have like a falsy value or you have like a 0 here, and if you run this, as you can see, it will actually run that line of code there now. So the OR operator can be used to conditionally execute certain codes here. So it needs to be a false condition for you to run this code here. So that is your OR operator. The next operator I want to take a look at is your AND operator, which is your double ampersand. So again, I'm going to show you how it evaluates your booleans here. So if I have false and false, it gives you false, and if I have false and true, it will give you false again. If I flip it, same thing, it will give you false. And then if I have true and true, it gives you true here. So that is your AND operator here. Again, you can use this for your conditional loops. So if it is dependent on two conditions and you need those two conditions to be true to execute, you can use your AND operator here. And it also can be used to conditionally assign variables. So again, I'm going to create a variable a and give it a value of 0, and then b dependent on a, and this time I'm going to use the AND operator and do the same thing, give a value of 100. And if I log this value here, I'm going to log b now. If I run this, as you can see, now it gives you a value of 0, whereas in the case of the OR operator, it will give you a 100 value here, because in the case of your AND operator, instead of finding the truthy value first, it will look at the first falsy value. So if I put 25 and then do the same thing here, it will give you a value of 100, because it will look for the first falsy value. So if I have, like for example, this is 25 and then NN null and then NN 100, then when you log this, it will give you null because it looks for the first falsy value. And just like the OR operator, if everything is a truthy value here, so if I have 100 and then I have something like hello, it will look for the first falsy value, and if we can't find one, it will just look at the last value and return that last value there. So that is your AND operator conditional assignment of a variable. It can also be used to conditionally execute your lines of code. So if you use this true and console log b, if you run this, it will actually run the line of code. And if I put false, then I'm just gonna console.log world. If I run this, it does not. If it's false, then it won't run this condition. If it's true, then it will actually run that line of code there. So it will work the exact opposite of the OR operator. And that is your AND operator. So the next one I want to take a look at is your NOT operator. So your NOT operator is your exclamation mark. So basically what it's used for is to convert something that is true to false and something that is false to true. So it basically flips the Boolean value. And this also works for your truthy value, your truthy and falsy value. So if I have like exclamation mark 0, it'll give you false. So the other use of your NOT operator is that you can actually use it for your Boolean conversion. So if you remember, in your type conversion, you can use the Boolean constructor or the Boolean function, and you can put your value there. And you can get the value in a boolean form here, or you can use the double exclamation mark, and what it does is it converts the value of 0 to the opposite boolean value, which is true, and then it does it again, then it becomes false. So you can actually do your type conversions here. So that is your not operator. Okay, so the last operator I want to take a look at is what we call the null coalescing operator. So the null coalescing operator is your double exclamation mark, and is usually not used for your if condition statements, but is used for your variable assignments. And what it does is, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to say let a equals 0, and I'm going to say let b equals a again, and this time I'm going to use that double question mark, and I'm going to put 100, and I'm going to log that out. If I run this, as you can see here, it gives you 0. So it works the same way as your AND operator. So then why do we have this extra operator? Well, it doesn't actually work the same way as an AND operator, because it's actually not looking for a false value. It's actually looking for what is called a defined value. So what is a defined value here? So it looks for a defined value, which means that it is not null, or it's not undefined. So as long as the value is not null or undefined, then that's what it's looking for. So 0 is not null or undefined. It will actually return that value. So if I have something called let a is undefined, if I run it, it will actually now give me the 100. So this is used basically if you have like a value of, let's say you have a value of temp, and you have a value of temp of 0, and then you want another variable that depends on that temp variable, and you use the OR operator here, you will get, okay, a is not defined. Okay, we're going to put temp there and run this, and what it does is it gives you a value of 100, but you actually want that value of 0. So what you can do is you can use the null coalescing operator here, and you will get the value of a 0 there. So that is your null coalescing operator. So we've actually gone through all the logical operators. The last thing I want to talk about is precedence. So what operator takes precedence over the other? So the order goes, the first thing that gets evaluated first is your not operator, and then your AND operator, and then the next level is both your OR operator and your null coalescing operators. So the OR operator and this double question mark have the same level of precedence here. So this one, the AND operator exclamation mark, have a higher precedence. So that is, I come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the next video I'm going to be talking about your loops. So you can stay tuned there, and if you did enjoy this video, please give a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for your notifications, and I will see you in the next video.